Hello everyone and welcome to Car Court, where cars are bad until proven good. Today's defendant, Toyota's CHR. But first, a little recap on last episode, the Genesis GV80. Now, despite our best arguments, you actually voted 72 to 28% in favor of me that the GV80 is a bad car. Now, this actually surprises me because that's not my real take. I actually think the GV80 is a great showing from Genesis for their first SUV. Yeah,
it's a great car.
It looks cool. It's nice inside. I will admit it's a bit overhyped, and I do think that there are cars that drive better in that class. I do agree with that. But you are absolutely right that the thing looks nice and it's a great value.
And it has an S-tier sound system.
It is a very good sound system. Yes, that Lexicon is banging.
Mm-hmm.
So, on to this week's car, the Toyota CHR. Chris, tell us a little bit about this subcompact crossover.
Yes, this is a funky looking subcompact SUV from Toyota, and it lives under the premise of slow car fast. It is loads of fun because you can just floor it everywhere. You don't have to care about it. It can do anything at full throttle. It's got about 140 horsepower, a CVT, and it has diamonds everywhere.
Rihanna would love this car.
Thank you.
Now, that being said, diamonds included, is it a good car?
Yes.
Again, Chris, I'm sorry, every week I keep trying to get you on board, but you're wrong again, and we're gonna start right off here with the mug on this thing. Look at these giant lights. I think this light, let's see, 1, 2, this is more than 3 feet, a meter worth of headlight right here. It's entirely overstyled. It's as though they tried to create an anime character out of their car. Now then you move on to the name, Toyota CHR. I don't think they more blatantly could have been trying to attack Honda with their CRV, HRV, and all their various acronyms. Toyota has so many memorable brand names, the Camry, the Corolla, the RAV4, and then they introduced the CHR. It's confusing. No one even knows how to punctuate it. This little naturally aspirated 2-liter is absolutely anemic. We joked that the gas pedal inside the car is an on-off switch. You're pretty much full throttle or you're nothing. And that's what you have to do to get this thing up out of traffic. There were times this week while I was driving this car that I just had to let traffic go when typically in just about any other vehicle, I'd move right along ahead, cross the lanes, merge, that sort of thing. You have to be so strategic with how you accelerate and when you're driving this car. And for what? The MPG ratings from the EPA are not even that great, even though this doesn't come with all-wheel drive. So instead of getting a Corolla or a Camry, which you can get with all-wheel drive now, you spend money to get this slightly lifted up subcompact crossover deal, but you can't get all-wheel drive. So you're still getting front-wheel drive, and you're still getting a hatchbacky sort of look, which again, you can get with the Corolla. But you come along to the back, you pop open the trunk, and even though this is a subcompact car, you're getting a lift height that is nearly up to my hips as a 5'10" person, and there's barely any room in here. So you're getting a lifted car that doesn't have as much space as your traditional hatchback. You can't get an all-wheel drive like many of the crossover competitors. You're getting ugly looks, you're getting a weird name, you're not getting great fuel economy, and you're getting less warranty than a lot of the competitors. So I really don't know who this car is for other than the most ignorant, diehard Toyota fan that is Corolla adverse? Why, Chris?
Ignorant.
Why should someone actually buy this car?
Well, it's all about being unique, because in a sea of bland, horrible, boring designs, especially in the subcompact SUV market, this car is a breath of fresh air. It's unique. It's almost Scion-esque. It has all of these funky, curvy lines that you don't really get in any other car in this segment. And also, it doesn't always have to be about going fast. This car lives under the premise of slow car fast. And it's like that episode of Top Gear where they have that Toyota, he drives it like an absolute maniac, he has a blast. That is what this car is. This particular one is the Nightshade Edition, meaning we are getting gray paint, black wheels, black roof, and you can also get this in a variety of bright colors to complement the futuristic and kind of crazy looking design. Also, being that it is a Toyota, you will constantly have bulletproof reliability and you won't have to worry about anything in that department. Stepping into the CHR, you will find this lovely little 3-spoke steering wheel. That is leather wrapped. It feels great in the hands. Also, there is a repeating theme of diamonds in the interior. If you love diamonds, this is the car for you. Buttons here, diamonds, buttons here, diamonds. The overhead light has diamonds and a diamond-shaped button. There's diamonds in the headliner. The seats have diamonds. The door panels have diamonds. The speaker covers are diamonds. Everything in this car is diamond-shaped, and it's Toyota's attempt to be just a little bit different, a little bit more outgoing than the normal subcompact SUV, and for that, I think that this is a nicely designed interior.
Chris, another problem I have with this car is the back seat windows. Who typically sits in the back seat of a car? Children. Now, I'm a 5'10" adult. I can barely see out of this porthole of a window. What if I were a kid?
Yes, but
sitting way back here.
Children.
Look, I want some fresh air, Mom.
Children are only interested in what is on the screen of their iPad. They don't care about looking out the window. They're nice and enclosed. They don't have light going onto their screen. They can sit back there contently.
So Chris, pretty much what you're telling me is the only people who should buy this car are people who don't care about any actual on-paper merits of the car. They just want something that's got cool colors and a bunch of fun shapes.
Yes, because that's the target market for this car.
So you're saying the target market is ignorant shoppers?
No.
You're insulting every single Toyota CHR buyer right now.
I'm not. This car is for someone that isn't interested in all the figures. They go to the Toyota showroom, they see this car, and they think, yes, I want that. And they're not interested in how it performs or anything because it is just a car to them.
Well, you heard the man, folks. If you are an ignorant shopper and don't care about any specs or figures about your car and you just want to walk into a showroom and get schmoozed by a guy named Greg and put into a Toyota lease on a CHR, this is the car for you. Listen to that. This is your $25,000 crossover. What do you think? Is Chris right that fun colors and diamonds are enough to convince you to buy this Toyota subcompact crossover? Or am I right, this is a bad car, it's slow, it's ugly, and you should pick something better? Let us know in the comments and let us know in the polls. There will be a vote for this, and you can vote whether you agree with Chris or whether you agree with me, and you'll find out the results on the next episode of Car Court. Thanks for watching, everybody.